Hey there, my name's Jesse, and you're listening to the Deep Lore Boys podcast.
A ghost ship in the 1940s.
Apparently a big satanic monster in Loch Ness.
What is going on in this family, dog?
So this was a listener-requested topic, the radio station KDND.
Oh, have you read through this yet? Because I think this is like almost a tragic topic.
It is a tragic
tragic
topic.
topic.
Okay, yes, this is what I'm thinking of then.
The station first signed on in 1947, and looks like it ran through 2017 was when it officially had its last air date. But it became famous for an incident in 2007. It was an on-air contest called Hold Your Wee for a Wee.
This was what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
This is
I
such
cannot.
a stupid idea.
Yeah. One of those things that you're hearing like, wow, this was so avoidable.
The Hold Your Wee for a Wee contest, January 12th, 2007. What were you boys doing then on that day?
Dude, I would have been in, I think, preschool, actually.
What was I doing those days? I'm probably like deep in meditation or something. Thinking, planning my next move,
Well, it's a good thing you weren't listening to KDND because you would have been really distracted.
Yeah.
So they had a morning show called The Morning Rave, and they held an on-air contest, Hold Your Wii for a Wii. And I think at this time, the Wii video game console, objectively the best gaming console ever created,
Yes.
had just come out in November, so 3 months before this, and it was a big thing. I'm actually reading it was impossible to find in stores in North America because people kept buying it out. And the idea behind the contest was, all these people want a Wii, of course. We're going to give one away. You have to drink as much water as you can and not pee. The whole goal is to just...
Yeah.
If you can drink the most water and you can hold it in, you're going to win this gaming console. What could go wrong?
Basically, I'm just going to state the obvious that if there is something that you wouldn't normally do when it comes to consuming anything, you shouldn't be doing it. The reason that you're not normally drinking gallons upon gallons of water and not peeing is because that is a bad thing to do. It's
Tycho
not
Brahe.
Tycho, what is it? Brahe, literally. We've talked about him on the podcast before, died because he held his pee for too long.
Here's the problem, and I'm gonna step in here and say that anytime, look at any bad thing that has happened, and there are always layers of warnings and mess ups where someone could have stopped and been like, okay, maybe this isn't a good idea.
Well, that's what's weird to me with this is how many people, you're telling me that nobody involved here, nobody either working for the station or listening on air or competing, nobody ever stopped to think maybe this will cause a degree of harm.
The contest began at 6:45 a.m., so bright and early, people are just chugging water. And I guess they had contestants physically there in the studio somehow because they were each given 8-ounce water bottles to drink at 15-minute intervals. And they were giving increasingly larger quantities of water to drink. So every 15 minutes, they would bring them more water. Jennifer Strange, she was a 28-year-old contestant. She may have drunk nearly 2 gallons of water. She placed second in the contest somehow. So somebody drank more than her. And she actually ended up passing away from water intoxication hours after taking part in the contest because she had so much. So I guess that implies that somebody did win the Wii and then the second place contestant dies. What do you do as the winner in that scenario?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you get the Wii. They're really, by the time somebody is dying in this competition, I feel like there really isn't a win here.
Yeah, it's not.
Nobody really walks away from this with a big win.
So somebody else in California had actually died earlier from water intoxication before this, and the disc jockeys on the show were fully aware and had actually talked about this before.
Oh, really?
Someone died from water intoxication. So this was not an accident. This was beyond grossly negligent.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. So
I don't, man, I don't, this is such an easy problem to not have.
the contestants signed releases and couldn't file a lawsuit. According to a contestant, the waivers addressed only publicity issues and made no mention of health or safety concerns. The DJs joked about Strange's distended belly, joking that she looked 3 months pregnant. That is horrendous.
Yeah, I think that these DJs are just bad people,
This
honestly.
is
I'm,
rough.
No, I'm
I'm
gonna be
getting
honest.
less negligent vibes and more just they're aware that people are endangered by
Ugh.
doing this and they just want to make a big show out of this. Is like evil Mr. Beast. Like,
No, he had actually even said on air, he joked to Strange, who was dying, who died later. He said, "This is what it feels like when you're drowning. There's a lot of water inside of you." So this person's just a piece of garbage.
Did they get reprimanded for this?
Yeah,
And
they were
also,
fired.
there's no mention
they were fired.
that I can see of
So-
who won the Wii. Not that that's more important than
Yeah,
poor
where's the
Jennifer
Wii?
who
Okay,
died.
who got-
But like, if she
Yeah.
died for the Wii, I want to know what its fate was.
Yeah.
So January 15th, a couple days later, their website is replaced with a message from the station's vice president, John Geary, who is saying, "We're so sorry," expressing sympathies to Strange's family, and the morning rave was going to be taken off the air indefinitely. He dismissed 10 employees, including the 3 morning disc jockeys, and canceled the morning rave. Okay, so this tanked the entire show
Yeah.
and these dudes' careers.
I mean, it looks like the KDND stopped running in 2017 was the last time they aired. So it looks
A
like
lot of radio stations have had a
Yeah.
rough go since, the digital
Yeah.
age.
What the heck? Okay, so in like actually horror film level plot twist,
Oh.
one of the 3 DJs that was on there, his sister is Lori Vallow Daybell, who was a doomsday mother who killed her children.
Oh, really?
Oh, what?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know who that is, but sounds pretty messed up.
He then joined another radio show. He was then fired from that a day after.
Wait, don't tell me you worked there for a day and got fired.
No, he was fired a day after his sister was found not guilty. Was found
Oh.
guilty. Was found guilty.
Oh.
It's probably just a publicity thing. Like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
can't have you on here.
This DJ, his brother, and Vallow Daybell's other brother shot her 4th husband. There was
What?
apparently everyone
What?
killing everyone.
What is going on in this family, dog?
Man, this family
Okay.
is a train wreck. Okay.
I guess that there were no real legal repercussions here because there was no coercion. These people signed up willingly. The radio station has some serious liability exposure. This was obviously really bad for business and their
Yeah.
image, but there's technically no criminal misconduct that they could really charge him for. A wrongful death lawsuit was announced on January 18th on behalf of Strange's husband and 3 children. That's so sad.
Yeah,
So, and
it is
basically what I'm
sad.
reading is that the FCC didn't shut down the radio station. They didn't terminate him, but Jennifer's family got $16 million in monetary damages.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, not that makes up for Jennifer dying, but that's
Yeah,
nice.
that's but
This makes no mention of what happened to the Wii. What happened to the Wii?
This is,
I don't mean to obsess, but
they must have given it the
doggone
second place, man. They
woman
must have.
died for this.
Yeah. Where'd the Wii go?
Okay, I'm feeling like Tycho Brahe right now. This monster has gone right through me, so
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go
Uh-oh.
pee real fast.
I'm gonna take a break too, so I'll be back. Jackson, you entertain
All right.
everybody, okay?
All right, chat. Yeah, Jackson, you keep them entertained.
All right, guys, we're gonna do a Dr. Seuss book PDF. Ready, guys? It's Cat in the Hat. If it ever loads up, just wait. The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. The sun did not shine. It was too wet to play, so we sat in the house all that cold, cold, wet day. I sat there with Sally. We sat there, we two, and I said, "How I wish we had something to do." Too wet to go out and too cold to play ball, so we sat in the house. We did nothing at all. So all we could do was sit, 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 and we did not like it, not one little bit. Bump. And then something went bump. How that bump made us jump. We looked and we saw him step on the mat. We looked and we saw him, the Cat in the Hat,
Jackson, are you reading the Cat in the Hat?
Is Jackson spamming slurs? What was he doing to keep
He's
you
reading the
entertained?
Cat in the Hat. He's
Oh no,
man. I'm glad to see you took good care of him, Jackson. Thank you.
Jackson, you brought attention to something really, really mysterious and really, really thought provoking earlier. I've just got to know more about this this creature.
This creature?
Can we? Yeah,
Jackson-
the dinosaur you just brought
Yeah,
up.
who is the like Ourang Armageddon or whatever?
This isn't a creature at all.
What?
Ourang Medan. It's spelled like orangutan, and it's actually it's the
Okay.
same orang because orang means man.
Madon?
Oh wait, the Ourang Medan.
Was this the
Is-
boat where everybody like disappeared on it?
Yes.
Yeah, I know this.
Jackson, I thought the
Yeah.
Ourang Medan was like an orangutan megalodon hybrid.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Dude.
Like
It was
a
like
sea monster.
Dude, you can't just like go into this like that. Yeah, I know this.
So the Ourang Medan was supposedly a ghost ship in the 1940s. There was a ship that was sailing nearby, and they heard something over the radio that said like, emergency, everyone on crew is dead, captain dead, and then the last words they just heard was, I die. A few hours later, one of the ships that was in Southeast Asia went over to it to see what had happened, and they found a ship that was drifting in the ocean. There was really no sign of life on it, but it didn't look like anything had really affected the ship. Like it didn't sink, there was no smoke from a fire, nothing like that. The ship was just drifting. And what they discovered on board were probably, 50 people.
Yeah, we can't assume how many people, but it was the entire crew died, right?
Yeah, it said they discovered all the crew dead with their eyes open and their faces frozen in shock as if witnessing a horrific scene.
Yeah, also allegedly even the dog was dead and looked scared.
Not
Dude, they
the
killed
dog.
the dog too? Are you kidding me right now?
Come on.
They eventually decided that something was not right, and then they decided to leave the ship but tow it into a harbor, because you can't just leave a ship like drifting out into sea. It might crash into something.
Yeah,
They
that's
just didn't want to do that.
problematic.
It's valuable. And as they did that and everyone was off of the ship, it blew up.
What?
Yep. So the ship vanished.
Wait, the ship
Dude.
just exploded like unprovoked? It just
Yeah, it just had enough.
And this
It
is
just-
this is
Wow.
the part of the story where a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is fake. There's no way that this ever happened." And I actually do not think that this is a fake story at all. I think this is definitely at least inspired from a real thing that happened, and here is why. There is no recorded ship called the Ourang Medan. It does not it does not appear in any ship logs.
nor is there a
However-
recorded sea creature with that name.
Yeah, the
Unfortunately.
orangutan megalodon hybrid, which man.
Oh man, but there was no ship that was labeled the Ourang Medan. So everyone has said for years, like, oh, this isn't a real thing, except for the fact that ships that were carrying toxic chemicals were never labeled. Now, the alleged effects that the people had with like their faces were frozen and everyone on the ship died with no real effect would have been what lined up with toxic chemical leaks in a ship, and people wouldn't have been able to get out. And you can also hallucinate with a
Oh,
toxic chemical.
like vapors and stuff? Like
Yes.
toxic.
Yeah, so there was
Okay.
likely a leak. And then that's why the ship supposedly blew up, because they're saying it's eventually, once it fills up, vapors will blow up,
Oh.
which is likely that. So again, it's been a ghost story for years, since the 40s, like late 40s or 50s. I do think this was probably a real ship. The Ourang Medan was a real ship, or there was something very, very close to it.
Some versions of the story say that there is this one survivor, a German, who swam to safety. I guess he jumped ship, and he was found by an Italian missionary and natives in the Marshall Islands. And then he died. But before he died, he told the missionary the ship was carrying a badly stowed cargo of oil of vitriol. Oh, sulfuric acid. And that the crew perished because of the poisonous fumes escaping from the broken containers.
Honestly, I think that the poisonous fumes, I think that's like cope. I don't buy that. Honestly.
What's your theory?
Ender Dragon.
Oh, you're
just hear
so
me
right.
out. Hear me out, okay.
In the chat, by the way,
yeah.
Luke Gibbons says, JoJo's reference, they were zombie vampires. It exploded because the thing was jammed. There is no mystery. It's just Jonathan.
I love how everything is still a JoJo reference all these years later.
Somehow. Even on the podcast, JoJo's has had like a
Oh
heartbeat.
yeah.
They're saying it was either nitroglycerin or nerve
Nah.
agents that probably cause this.
But there would be, if somebody dies from nerve gas, you're not just going to be like, oh, their faces look scared. Like, they're going to look like they died from nerve gas. Like, you can tell looking at a body right away when it's been gassed.
Well, not if you don't know what a gassed body looks like.
You're
right?
going to
'Cause this
know
was
that
kinda
something
new.
is wrong. You're going to look right away and be like, holy crap.
Well, yeah, you're
man,
gonna be like, this guy's dead.
you're not just gonna look dead. You're gonna have like swelling and like your veins are gonna be like purple and gross.
They might have just been sparing the details. We got very little. Like, we don't even get the names of these people.
To be
If they
fair,
didn't
yeah,
record the
stating
names,
simply that the corpses resemble horrible caricatures is probably good enough for that.
I mean, I do like the Ender Dragon theory.
That's my theory.
It's still strong. I think there's still room for that for sure.
You know, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking here.
It could have been worse. They could have been attacked by a part orangutan, part megalodon ancient sea creature.
That's what I thought this was. You dropped the Ourang Medan, and I'm like,
that would have been a much worse way to go.
Yeah,
this is just like you're breathing in funny gas.
Yeah,
that's not so bad.
Do we buy the story of the Germans swimming off and landing on an island somewhere and then talking about that?
No,
where is the source for that? I don't even know. It just has some versions of the story. The whole problem with the Ourang Medan is that there's no like official coverage of this. Like, no military claim like, oh, yep, this was our boat. Yeah, sunk, all those
That's the
years
thing.
ago.
Nobody claimed these guys. We don't know who any of the people on board were. We don't even know anything about the ship that picked them up.
I don't think that's that unrealistic.
Where's our crew? Like, they would some family back at home would be like, man, I wonder where my son or my husband went. Like, they would wonder that sort of thing, and they would have to find out. Like,
they might not necessarily be able to find out. Like, I know somebody whose son is on like a deep sea submarine for the U.S. military, and they don't know where they are, what ocean they're in, what depth they're at. Like, if they die, if their sub gets blown up by an orangutan megalodon, the government would probably just say, yeah, rest in peace. They died in duty to this country, and that's all we can tell you.
But was this a military thing though? This seems like a domestic case here. And
shipping nerve gas, I would say, is going to be.
We don't know that it's nerve gas is like heavily speculated though. We have no proof that nerve gas was involved.
The Ender Dragon theory is looking a lot.
Yeah. I'm really leaning towards the Ender Dragon here. Okay, like, I'm just saying. Now, naturally, this should be regarded real until proven fake. That's how we do it.
Oh, that's our policy.
So yeah.
I think the fact that here's what I will say. There are a lot of descriptions that were given in the stories, oddly specific, in my opinion, to just not be. I think it is definitely at least inspired by a real thing that happened. Yeah. But I don't know if it was a real ship that actually had that many people died and then blew up.
I think it's one of those stories that you can say, like, if you're losing sleep over this, if this is a spooky story that's keeping you up at night, there's enough of a chance it's not real that you could probably just go to bed saying, this never happened. But if you think it's cool and you want it to be true, something like it might have happened, and there's a good chance of that. So... do we, is there like a specific shark you think we should...
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sorry,
that was a crazy...
Oh, sorry. No, that was a Monster Energy Ultra Strawberry Dreams burp right there. My bad.
I thought you were turning into a Megalodon there. That was...
As the great Shrek would say, it's better out than in.
There was a survey that was done recently with a few thousand people around the country, just random people, and 45% of Americans stated that they thought the Megalodon was more likely to still be alive than to be extinct.
What?
And I thought that was really interesting. So, genuine question for you and for everybody. No judgment either way. I don't really care. I know my answer, but Megalodon, dead or alive? What are we thinking?
I feel like my opinion is complicated. No, I'll say straight up, I don't believe that the Megalodon's still out there. For a long time, I was pretty convinced that like aquatic dinosaurs were still around and they just hung out in the deep because only 10% of the ocean is explored. Like, what's out there, guys?
By aquatic dinosaurs, are we talking like a mosasaur or like a T-Rex swimming around just like...
No, I'm talking like a mosasaur. Yeah, I'm talking like plesiosaurus and stuff. And I was like, guys, Loch Ness Monster, sea monster stories from World War II. Like they're
Ooh,
still out
okay.
there. They're just not cataloged by modern science. And
Hmm.
I don't think I'm in that boat anymore. And
But you
certainly
could
not
be.
for
You
the
could be.
Megalodon. But I do think it's more fun to believe in the Megalodon.
Well, that is literally the spirit of the podcast right here, is exploring and enjoying these things anyway, regardless of their
You're right.
credibility.
Cut that out. I'd like to strike that from the record. The Megalodon is
The
real
Megalodon
until
is real,
proven
guys.
fake.
I saw it. I went fishing the other day. I swear it was right there. I knew a guy actually who tried to explain. He said that Megalodon wasn't real. He's like, it just wasn't a real animal. I was like, dude, I literally own a Megalodon tooth. Like, it sits on my desk. I have it right now. What do you mean it was not real? And he's like, well, you see, the teeth are real. Like, it definitely had teeth. It was a normal sized shark, and its teeth just did that. Like, that was like his genuine take.
I'm just on the Megalodon Wikipedia, and this thing is humongous. Like, it is almost as
it's
big as the
huge.
creature. Megalodon's teeth are the state fossil of North Carolina? Why?
Really interesting. Okay.
On the Megalodon's Wikipedia, down in the popular culture section, it says, Animal Planet's documentary, Mermaids, The Body Found, included an encounter 1.6 Maya between a pod of mermaids and the Megalodon. And it states that like it's a fact. Like,
wait, what? Hold on. Where on the wiki is this? Hold on.
If you go to the Megalodon wiki and go down to In Popular Culture, it has a section about Animal Planet's mermaid documentary and how mermaids and the Megalodon interact.
Also,
why does
is
it
the group of
specify-
mermaids officially
What?
a pod?
I guess so. I mean, that makes more sense than like
pod
a
of mermaids.
herd or like a flock. Like,
What about a school? I mean, I feel like a school of mermaids would work. Like,
dude, Myrmidon versus the Megalomade.
The
All right,
Megalomade?
stupid.
Dude.
It's just a Megalodon with a fishtail.
Wait, no, what? I was imagining just like a really big mermaid, but I guess that
No,
works
it's-
too.
no, it's just
I'm sorry, that's all I pictured. It was just a Megalodon with like a scaly, shiny fishtail. Yeah, Jackson, what do you think about the Megalodon?
okay. So I think there's really two answers to this question. First of all, do I believe the Megalodon existed at all?
No,
Do
yeah,
I
that's
believe-
the question.
Oh, okay. Important distinction.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Do I believe that it is currently around? I'm gonna say no, because I think something that big that's gonna need to hide out in warm, sunny waters likely is not gonna be hard to miss.
Wait, it's not going to be hard to miss? Wait, no, that's right. Wait,
Easy to
it's
miss.
not going to be hard to
not.
miss. Wouldn't that mean it's easy to miss?
No, it's gonna be hard to miss.
Oh.
Oh no, it's gonna it's gonna be easy to find. Basically, it's not
Okay.
gonna
Yeah.
be.
You're gonna know when there's a Megalodon around. You'll notice it. You'll find them.
So Megalodon was a real animal. When did people start being like, no, it's still around? Like it's still here. Is that because there have been like interesting sightings, or like is it kind of just big shark, people want it to exist?
I
Kind of
really
just big
think.
shark that people want to exist.
Yeah,
really.
I don't know that it's.
I mean, it is a really cool creature, and I mean, Megalodon sightings probably like quadrupled after Jaws came out.
People really wanted it to be alive, and so then film documentaries and movies realized that, played into that. It exists and it's still alive just because it can be. And
Well,
I think
it
it is.
Berta in the Discord chat says, do y'all believe in the Loch Ness Monster? Because apparently my husband does, so I just need opinions. Well, you've come to the right
Ooh,
place.
Yeah,
Berta.
this is the place for
We are the
opinions.
experts.
I was a big Loch Ness believer growing up, big time. I took a I was homeschooled, and we had this like Christian curriculum that cited the Loch Ness Monster as evidence for young Earth creationism because there's a dinosaur still alive.
No. What? Wait,
Which-
what?
Cool, but maybe
Yeah.
don't use cryptids.
Yeah,
as
that's
the,
probably not the best thing you can use.
so real until proven fake, right?
Yeah.
Up until a few years ago, I don't think the Loch Ness Monster was objectively proven fake, but they did a bunch of like DNA scans in the water, and it was coming back like, probably nothing. And I'm not a DNA expert, but I think that it at least nails down the Loch Ness Monster as a magical creature. It's like a fae. So it doesn't
It can
leave DNA
teleport.
behind.
Yeah.
it's different. That's what I would say.
When they did DNA, they took, I think, 240 different eDNA samples around the lake. And they did actually wind up revealing results of eels, a lot of eels, and they're just known to have a lot of eels, some of which are large, and also seals. And so if they were swimming around, that could have contributed to it, because nobody's expecting to see seals in a lake at all, like
Yeah.
ever. So I think that could have contributed to some of the sightings of just weird shaped things swimming around. For me personally, the biggest, I guess, like counter to it existing, which really sucks because I, more than anyone, want the Loch Ness Monster to be real. Like, I love it to death. Unfortunately, the first ever reported sighting, reported a plesiosaur swimming in the lake, and it was reported by a young couple that was on their way home from the theater after having watched King Kong.
Oh yeah, didn't sightings really spike after King
They
Kong?
really spiked after that. Suddenly, once these two kids said that they had seen it, that suddenly a whole bunch of people were saying, yeah, there's a plesiosaur, it's in the lake, I swear.
Which, like, maybe
And
the
it's-
plesiosaur was there to see
Yeah.
the movie. Like,
Yeah,
we
maybe
can't-
maybe it was there for King Kong too, maybe it was. But it's funny to me that all of those sightings really spiked.
There is also a mention of the Loch Ness Monster in the year 565 AD
Oh, okay.
with Saint Columbia.
I've never heard of that guy before.
Yeah, there was apparently a big satanic monster in Loch Ness, and it will, like, I think it ate a guy, or a man was swimming in
Holy.
the river, and then he was attacked by the beast. It mauled him and dragged him underwater. St. Columbia comes by and, like, rebukes it.
Thank God for St. Columbia, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Dude.
So I don't think we're in disagreement here. Any of the science or studies that have been done have only proved that it is not a normal creature. The Loch Ness Monster could easily be a whimsical fey entity that shows up and goes when it wants. I think that's
could.
probably the most likely.
Can we also discuss the possibility of Planet 9?
There's every year or every couple of months or weeks or days at this point, I don't know, some nerd makes an article that's like, scientists have found new evidence supporting a ninth planet past the Kuiper Belt. It's out, and it's like, okay, like, and what is our evidence for this? And they're like, explain gravity. Like, it's like there's really never any supporting point. It's
so
something that I don't
currently,
think.
though, scientists have not yet ruled it out, though, either. So here's what I will say: if there is a Planet 9, if we find it and it's just like this really dark, random thing out there, what do you guys think we should name it?
Planet X.
Deep Lore Boys planet.
Yeah.
Yes. You know what? Smack a big
Yes.
Deep Lore Boys logo on
Big
it.
sticker on there.
Brilliant.
In
Okay, that's what we're
10,000
calling it.
years, when it orbits around again and we can see it, distant generations of humanity, we'll get a podcast advertisement.
Yes. They might not even know what a podcast is at that point, but
The Blarcarius Flam.
the
I don't know.
what?
Luke Gibbons, I don't know what that means.
The Blarcarius Flam.
My
Dude.
suggestion is that they have to name it after a Roman deity. Like, they gotta keep that. I am actually
Deep
thinking...
Lore Boreas.
Yeah, Deep Lore Boreas would go crazy. I think they should name it Uranus too. Honestly.
No, but this one is pronounced Uranus. The other
this
one is Uranus.
Yeah. This time we actually own it. Okay.
Hey again, it's Jesse. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Deep Lore Boys podcast. If you did, leave a like, leave a review, subscribe for more episodes, share it with a friend. You know the stuff. Thanks for listening, and I hope your day is nothing short of interesting. Take care.
I'm going to go post that one on twitter.com.